disappointments of childhood, we've all been there. The guide promised it was legit, and they'd have no reason to lie to you. And maybe it wasn't a lie, just a simple admission of one key detail. The Aether Mod, adding the paradise of our childhood dreams to Minecraft, taking inspiration from old rumours while adding their own twists to the concept. Good evening, mortals, my name is Jay, and welcome to Paradise. Well, that's all quite grand, but there is just one tinsy-wincy little problem. I'm here in the overworld, while the Aether is up there. Should we pillar up? Or maybe catapult ourselves? No, that won't work. To fix this, we must descend into the depths of the nether to acquire glowstone. With the glowstone, we can build our portal. So the first step to hell is punching trees. And look at that tree, doesn't it fall so beautifully? Now this is a blind seed, so I didn't know what I was going to get, and I do regret that slightly. Powdered snow was a brilliant addition to my favourite game, Minecraft. Grumble, grumble, stupid bloody weather. To avoid this happening again, I headed to one of these weird strips of spruce forest. I've never seen this kind of generation before, and it looks really cool. If I knew more about the technical side of Minecraft, I'm sure I could tell you why this happens. Maybe I should get on that. The best part of the seed, however, is not what is on the surface, but what is below it in the caves beneath. Just look at this lush cave that blends into a deep dark. God, these caves are gorgeous, although we kind of have to avoid half of it. I don't want to fight the Warden today. Peak Minecraft right here, sat in a box in a cave, watching iron smelt. The mission in this cave is to acquire some basic resources along with enough diamonds for a pickaxe. As to get to the Aether, we need to get to the Nether, and to go to the Nether, we need a Nether portal, and for the Nether, we need obsidian, and yada yada, you get the idea. Fortunately, these riches came swiftly, as did the creepers. The shield is the best item in the game, hands down. I owe it my life so many times. But hey, they mined some iron for me, how nice of them. That's sort of the one downside to these large caves, they fill with monsters really quickly. Personally, I usually stick to smaller tunnels, but you have to make an exception for a cave that looks this good. And look at this baby axolotl with its 3 parents. Below the cave entrance was a mineshaft, and look! It's an amethyst geode with a perfect entrance in. That I immediately destroyed because I want the calcite. I use calcite in my builds way more than I realise. Since it's abundant in most mod packs, I kind of forget it's pretty rare in regular Minecraft, only being found in amethyst geodes and stony peak biomes. Listen to that sound. Before leaving the cave, I crafted a sword and a pickaxe, leaving me enough diamonds for an enchanting table. Yay, why don't you find more alpha armor and stuff? Good question that I will answer once we get to the Aether. Look at that, the beauty of daylight, lovely and bright, making it perfect for deforestation. The grassworms spat me out along the coast, which I followed to the ruined nether portal. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough obsidian to make a portal, so I headed to this small house for the night. There was no bed, but there were sheep. Taking advantage of the wildlife, I crafted a backpack to place my 5 stacks of calcite in. Since I was going to need more obsidian, I went on a little adventure where I found another ruined nether portal that I could scrap the parts. Man, was I sweating trying to harvest this gold. Don't be lava under there, don't be lava under there, thank God. This portal did give me enough obsidian to rebuild that first portal and enter the nether. Straight into a soul sand valley, who's to say I'm not lucky? I bridged over to the glowstone hanging above a long drop into lava. If that doesn't sum up the nether, I don't know what does. I grabbed just under a stack of glowstone. We honestly don't need that much, but you never know. I left as soon as I could. I think hanging around in the nether is just tempting fate. But maybe I've just been traumatized from past modded experiences. Heading back to that little house, we can finally go to the Aether. The portal frame is built exactly as a nether portal is, and lit using a bucket of water, except instead of disappointment, a gateway is opened up before you. Stepping through the portal, we arrive in the Aether, on this little tiny island. Zephyr. Now, according to the wiki, these are hostile mobs that function like a ghast. I guess I just need to knock the snowball back at it. Ghasts don't do that! I can see why this mod gives you a golden parachute as soon as you arrive here. The parachute allows you to fall gracefully back to Earth unscathed. I think it's time we go back to the drawing board. The drawing board's results say bow and arrow to shoot those gas knockoffs out of the sky. So I gathered up a fair bit of gravel, the nice casual way, and went on a cross-country chicken hunt, running into several of the structures from Farmer Structures, an add-on for Farmer's Delight, because you bet there's an Aether add-on for that. All these structures are really nice and a great source of food. I also ran into another ruined nether portal, if you'd believe it. Inside this chest were golden gloves, a unique piece of armor added by the Aether mod. When worn, they provide 0.25 attack damage. But how do I wear the gloves? There's no glove slot in Minecraft. Think again, my dear mortal. The Aether adds multiple of its own armor slots, including a necklace, cape, shield, and glove slot, and 2 bracelets and 2 other slots. This allows us to wear our lovely golden gloves. I'm now a strange angel-esque lady with boxing gloves. Yeah, that tracks. Once I'd completed my murder pilgrimage, I could craft a nice stack of arrows, hopefully buying myself more than 30 seconds in the Aether. So back in we go! The Aether consists of large floating islands with clouds hovering in between. The blue clouds will launch you into the air. You do not have slowfall, however, so learn from my mistakes and be careful. This dimension has 2 main quirks that set it apart from the overworld. The first is that you can't place torches or any other overworld light sources that uses torches, so jack-o'-lanterns and lanterns are off the table. This is due to the low oxygen level from being so high up. You don't really think about oxygen being part of Minecraft, but you can drown, so clearly it is. The other quirk is that the overworld tools barely work here. They have the same mining speed as your fist. This makes it so you have to use the Aether tools and resources, the most basic of which is the Ambrosium ore, which according to the lore book is this world's equivalent of coal. What's a lore book, you ask? It's the Aether mod's answer to the guidebook included in most mods. Love him or hate him, the job of these books is to explain key features of the mod to you. The Aether is unique as you must already have the items to read its entry. Here's some examples of what it has to say from the stuff we already have. While Ambrosium is nice and all that, what we really want is Sanite gems, which act as the Aether's iron. Unfortunately, they're not quite as common as iron, so getting a full set is going to be a challenge. Challenges aside, I've picked this flattish area to be where I'm going to build my house. So I made another trip to the overworld for my stuff and dumped it outside. Between gravel mining and chicken hunting, I grabbed the last things I needed to build a temple. I was really unsure what kind of house I wanted to build, but one of the dungeons we'll be facing off is in a large temple, so I thought I'd build my own to live in. Temples are nice and easy to build, they're basically a box with a flat triangle roof and some pillars. Minecraft is a great game for building boxes in. Once again, I'm back with my favourite block mod, Chipped, to get some cool patterns for this otherwise plain white house. Chipped adds a range of different block types for almost all building blocks in the base game. These are crafted with various workbenches, all of which are pretty easy to get. I picked calcite columns, because obviously a temple needs columns. And then I used these spiral blocks as a trim. Spirals are everywhere in the Aether, the place could be mistaken for Uzumaki. So I wanted to incorporate some of them into my house. I wanted to do the same with my skin, but couldn't figure out exactly where I wanted them to go, so I didn't. Don't ask me exactly what my skin is, it's sort of a vaguely angel and flowy with a lot of blue to match some of the mobs here. Here's the mood board anyway, you might be able to gather the general vibe I was going with. Since there isn't much to say about the build itself, I feel like I should take this time to explain what's going to happen next. In the Aether, there are 3 dungeons, each of which with their own boss. Helpfully named the Bronze, Silver and Gold dungeon. Can you guess which order they go in? That's right, we do the Bronze, then the Silver and then the Gold. So our main mission in the series is to beat all 3 of the dungeons. But that's not all, alongside this there's a bunch of random side quests we can do, such as gaining a moa for ourselves, which are the strange looking dinosaur birds that live here. Or getting gravitite armor, which is the slightly better diamond armor. So we're not going to be bored, that's for certain. Once I got the shell of the house complete, and despite the locals' best attempt, we can work on the inside. The Aether doesn't have many special blocks we have to make space for, so we can just make this place cozy and with plenty of storage. I did have to head back to the overworld in order to kill cows for leather so I can make books. There are flying cows in the Aether that drop the same stuff as non-flying cows, but it's easier to kill the non-flying ones since, you know, they don't fly. The sacrifice did allow me to make this cute book nook for my not-so-cute enchanting table. A little expedition did get me another Waystone, so now we can go back and forth to the portal without risking my perilous little bridges. Upstairs is all the barrels and random table things that we needed to build this temple. The kitchen is loaded with Farmer's Delights goodies, so we can really get into that. That's my one regret from the Twilight Forest series, was not going into the Twilight Delight stuff enough. But I will rectify this in the next episode with my own cooking show or something. Before then, here's pretty shots of the house fully complete. In our next episode, we'll really get our teeth into this mod by taking on the Bronze Dungeon and finding some companionship. If you haven't already, hit subscribe so you'll be notified when the next episode comes out, or just click the end card. And if you have any suggestions for this mod or future mods I should cover, let me know down below. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and as the night draws... Wait, the Aether doesn't have a day-night cycle, how can the night draw in?